Campaka, the Flower King. Like the clear light of means and insight united, the Guru's constant flow becomes all-embracing. Sahaja, a wish-fulfilling tree, spontaneously emerges from the ground of being. Its fruit, the Trikaya, is radiant perfection. The kingdom of Kampa was named after the luscious perfumed flowers that grew so abundantly within its borders. Even the king himself took his name from the beautiful magnolia-like blossoms. In Campaka's realm there were flowers everywhere, and riches and pleasures of all sorts bloomed profusely for all his fortunate subjects. The young king revelled in the elegance and refinement of his court, enjoying his power and good fortune to the fullest. Life was such an endless succession of delights that he gave little thought to the future. One day, a yogin came to the palace begging for alms. The king received him in his little summer house, set like a jewel among radiantly blossoming Campaka bushes. Sweet-smelling blossoms cushioned the throne and cascaded down into a carpet of velvety petals. Amid this riot of fragrance, the king washed the yogi's feet and gave him soft cushions to recline upon. Then he ordered a sumptuous repast for his guest and sat back to listen to the yogin's discourse. So impressed was Campaka with what he heard that he asked the yogin to remain with him and become his priest. The yogin agreed. "Tell me," said Campaka, as he was giving the yogin a tour of his palace and gardens, "you have traveled through many different countries. Have you ever seen such flowers as these, or met a king like myself?" "Nowhere have been there such flowers. Their beauty and fragrance is beyond compare," replied his guest. The young king beamed with pride. "However," the yogin continued, "because of the heedless manner in which you live, the odor of your own body is far from agreeable. And yes, your kingdom far surpasses many others. But what does it matter when even you must exit this world empty-handed?" The king was stunned. For the first time in his life he began to think beyond the pleasures of the day and to examine the deeper questions of life, death, and rebirth. Several days later he went back to his guru, told him what he had learned from his introspection, and begged for further instruction that would destroy all attachment to this body. The yogin taught his young pupil about karma, the laws of cause and effect that govern all human activity, in order to discipline his mind in the ways of compassionate awareness and virtuous conduct. Then he initiated him into the path of creative and fulfillment yoga. The king set to work on his meditative practices with all the will in the world, but he was constantly assailed by doubts as to whether or not he was meditating properly. And again, no sooner had he centered his mind than the heady scent of the Campaka flowers would distract him. In despair, he returned to the yogin for assistance, and his guru devised a way for him to use these very distractions as stepping stones on the path. Know the nature of appearances as emptiness. That is the flower that is the Guru's instruction. wherein the mind must settle like a hungry bee to gather the pollen that becomes endless ambrosia. There are no distinctions between the flower, the bee, or the pollen. They are one in their essential nature. And the honey. The honey is pure pleasure. Thus taught Mahavajradhara, the sixth Buddha himself. Meditate without doubt, without fear. Campaka meditated upon the flower of pure reality for 12 years. In time, he realized the truth of his guru's words about the emptiness of appearances. Instinctively, he grasped that the reality of his own mind was totally inseparable from the peak experience that he sought, and thus attained his goal. Known as the Guru Campaka, he instructed his court and consorts in the Dharma for many years before he was assumed bodily into the paradise of the Dakinis. Nimo delek sendelek, nime gungyan delek shi, ninsen tatu delek pe, konjo somgi jingilo, konjo somgi ngodropso, konjo somgi tashi sho. At dawn or dusk, at night or midday, may the three jewels grant us their blessings. May they help us to achieve all realizations and sprinkle the path of our lives with various signs of auspiciousness.